Aina is a red. Welcome to your latest Forest transfer news. Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are, whatever time of day you're watching this. Hope you're having a fantastic day. And welcome to your latest Forest news. And yes, it has happened. The eclipse, the stars aligned, full moon, whatever you want to call it, Forest have signed a player. And we're going to get into all of that in a second. And on top of that, they're close to signing another winger. All of this coming up very shortly. We'll have the latest on Hendo and everything else. As always, before we get into it, please don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. And let's jump into this and talk about our latest signing. All right, guys, let's kick off the news with Ola Aina, who has signed for Nottingham Forest. It is deal done, confirmed by Romano as well, and we're hearing very similar things on him. A 26-year-old who plays for Torino. Now, this is where the position stuff gets a little interesting because he is predominantly a right wing back and a right back, but has also played his early parts of his career at left back. And on top of that, in midfield. He's a very attacking fullback. Is that the right word? Full wing back, whatever they're called these days. Let me give you his appearances. Been at Torino since 2019, 72 appearances and 1 goal. He's also Nigerian and has made 17 caps for them. So there could be some AFCON issues if he was to be selected come January. However, he's kind of born and raised in the UK. And there was links to him quite recently, about 6 months ago or so, to West Ham, who wanted to pay about 8 to 9 million to secure his services. And he was very interested in joining. He's enjoyed his time away from the Premier League, but he has come out and said that he wants to be back in the Premier League and playing kind of at that top tier level of football. Now, the question is, where does he fit in? And was he really a priority? And had anyone heard of him before 10 minutes ago? Answer to most of that is probably not. And where does he fit in? I don't know. We've got, if you look at it as where he played for Torino at right wing back, and obviously we've got Nico Williams, we got Serge Aurier, Biancone, already he can all play either right back or right wing back. And he can play those positions as well. But in terms of the pecking order, where would he fit in? I honestly haven't got a clue. I really don't. This would not have been a position of priority to me. But it seems as he was coming in for a free, because from the 1st of July, he was a free agent. It made sense for Forest to pick him up. Now, is this a sign of us strapped cashed for money with the FFP stuff that we've all been discussing over the summer? Not necessarily. I think what they've done here is found a player who is keen to come back, because there was talks that Fulham were heavily interested in signing him as well this window, but he has ended up at Nottingham Forest. I don't think he's a starter. I really don't. And I think still, I would probably put him behind Nico Williams and Serge Aurier. We all know Biancone wasn't getting the nod from Cooper even when he was fit last season. So I'd probably put him maybe on par or behind with Biancone. Now, if he does revert back to his left back position, then maybe this is seen as the backup for Omar Richards. If Omar Richards' leg would fully grow back, and apparently it has, if he's the plan to be the starter and then Ola comes in as second choice as backup for him, maybe that would make more sense, especially with the whole Tuffalo issue still hanging around. So the versatility I like. Do I see him as a mainstream starter? Not really. Overall, the signing is done and it should be announced fairly soon by the club. But what do you guys think about this? I think I'm just relieved that a player has come in. For me personally, my opinion on it, at least we know that people are working on recruitment in the club. Yes, I had my moan about it the other day. Yes, I lost my patience in terms of, come on, man, get the players through. But now we are seeing a lot of movement. And there's another deal about to happen that I'm just going to tell you about next. So Anthony Elanga is the next story we've got to bring you. Yes, I know it's a Manchester United player, but this looks like as well it's gone to deal done in terms of personal terms being agreed between the two clubs. In fact, people are reporting now that he's having or had a medical. That's not true. He is going to be having a medical, so that is the next step in it, but this still hasn't yet been booked in. So Elanga looks set for Forest at 15 million. Now, this one has split the fan base a bit and what have you, including myself. One day I wake up and I think, yeah, he can do a job. Second day I wake up and think, he's Man U reject. Do we really want him? I'm not going to put judgment on him until we see how Steve Cooper uses him. He is versatile. He can play on the wing. Sometimes he's played as striker. In emergencies, they've even put him at like left back and stuff. But I think we can do better, but for 15 million, it's not bad. It's a bit more than I would have expected it to be paid for him. I think 10 mil would have been the sweet spot for him. However, what's interesting is he rejected Everton flat out. And the rumours are he rejected them based on Dyche ball, and he doesn't like that style of football. So maybe the good news from this is he's had a chat with Cooper, with the staff, etc. And they've told him we won't be playing that low block football come next year. And maybe that's what's convinced him to come to Nottingham Forest. But this one looks set to happen. We will, of course, let you know as soon as the medical is booked in and he's signed, etc. And then what we will do on all these players that we sign, as we did yesterday with the Sangare video, make sure you go check that out if you haven't already. We'll give you a profile on the player, how they fit into the style. Then we'll talk about the formation and how they may impact it and work their way into the first team, etc. But at the moment, signing number 2, or technically 3 if you still want to include Chris Wood, is literally around the corner. And Elanga has rejected Everton for Nottingham Forest, and his medical will be booked in due course and very, very soon. So guys, how are you feeling? Is there a bit of a weight being lifted off the shoulders? Are we starting to see some movement? Here's my take on both these signings so far. Meh. Honestly, meh. Don't get me wrong, as soon as they put the shirt on, fully behind them. But meh. It's just me being honest. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, the subject I keep avoiding, and not because I don't like the player, I just know I'm sick of it, and I reckon you guys are too, and that's Dean Henderson. But screw it, there are updates and we've got to bring them to you. So, Hendo flew out to America with the Manchester United squad. Hendo still doesn't want to play for Manchester United and does want to play for Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest seem to be getting frustrated with Manchester United's pace of play. I said that like weeks ago this was going to happen. This is Manchester United. They don't know how to do business. They really don't. And now it's got to the stage where Forest got frustrated, and there was talks about 24 hours ago that Forest was just going to pull out the deal and go buy themselves another keeper. And to be honest, if they did that, I would be like, good for you. Good for you. Don't sing to Manchester United's tune. However, now the story's developing that Forest still want to push for this loan to buy option that we brought you a couple of days ago. And that's the deal they want to progress with. And still Manchester United would rather have the cash up front because they need to fund their own transfer window with things. So it's a complete and utter mishmash and a mess of a transfer that really, in essence, should have been towards the end of the season once Forest was secure. A quick call to Manchester United and saying, we'd like to transfer Dino from a loanee to a full-time Forest player. Manchester United should have said, we have no interest in keeping him. Let's negotiate the fee and move on. But no, in Manchester United's stupidity, they wanted to hold on to a player who doesn't want to play for them, who they don't want to keep, until they got Anana through the door. Well, firstly, don't forget it was De Gea. Is he staying? Is he not? He went. Then it was Anana. Is he coming? Is he not? He's come. And now finally, we're getting towards the stage where Manchester United are actually going to take this seriously and start to consider things. So is he coming or is he not? That is still the question, to be or not to be. And at the moment, the honest answer is, we don't know. We really don't. It seems like negotiations are going back and forth. There's nothing to say that anyone has walked away from the table as of yet. And the problem in all of this is, how fit is Dean Henderson? Because he should have been back and fully fit and ready for action sometime around now. But there are reports saying that he's still not fit. He may not be fit in time until towards the end of the preseason to get himself out on the pitch. So does that add another element of risk to Forest buying Dean Henderson with a potential that an injury may reoccur? He would still have to have a medical. He would still have to go through the normal process. So maybe that, in essence, could be something that's delaying this whole deal. So, do I think this one will still happen? Yes, I do. I think now that Forest have dealt with with Elanga and getting him through the door, and Manchester United know and Forest know that Dean Henderson wants to come to Nottingham Forest, then it makes sense for this deal to happen eventually. But I don't think it will happen tomorrow. But for sure, if they were talking about Elanga in the conversations, then obviously they've had the discussions about Dean Henderson. It's a mess, but we'll keep you updated as things break. Hopefully we don't have to give you an update, or should I say the next update we give you should be, here we go with Dean Henderson. But will that be tomorrow? Will that be in a week? Will that be in a month? We don't know yet. And anyone who says they does, honestly, they don't know what they're talking about. But get your thoughts in on all of that. Does it all make sense? Hopefully it does. Let me know in the comments down below. All right, so Nottingham Forest will play Levante tomorrow. And just to let you guys know, for those of you who may not have seen, kickoff has been moved forward an hour from 11 a.m. UK time to 10 a.m. UK time. Fantastic. The one day I get to have a little bit of a lie-in, well, that's been scrapped. We, of course, will have the watch along for you, probably kicking off from like 9:59. No, I'm joking. About 9:45. We'll go through the team sheets. We'll have the virtual screens, all the usual stuff going on during that match. So let's see who gets out on the pitch. And there is talks of Scarpa maybe featuring in this match. There's been some murmuring coming out that Scarpa wasn't fully fit, that Scarpa wasn't this, Scarpa wasn't that. And now we know he is fit and match ready. So Cooper, please, if you're listening or watching, or if you're playing a bit of volleyball in the pool or whatever with the boys, please let Scarpa play tomorrow. I just want to see what he's like. Now, even if he does play, should our expectations be that he's going to blow Levante out the water? He hasn't played in a game since I think Leicester towards the end of January, beginning of February. So is he going to be match sharp? No, I don't expect him to be so, but I do expect to see some good touches and some progressive football. Levante aren't a great team. Forest need to now put the accelerator down on these friendlies and really get some connections going on the pitch. What I'd love to see tomorrow is something resembling close to what would be our first, let's say 15 team. And then in the second half, bring the kids on, etc. But it would be nice to get an idea of what Cooper has planned for the coming season. Now, with the likes of Elanga signing, who is clearly a winger, that to me may be saying something about going to a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. And also, Elanga preferably plays on the right-hand side, which is Jono's position. So is there still going to be any legs in the whole Jono story with Villa, Brentford, etc.? I guess we'll have to watch this space and find out and see how everything develops. As always, we'll bring it all to you here on Forest Fan TV. If you haven't already, please don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new and you haven't hit that subscribe button. It's completely free to do. We will see you tomorrow at 9:45 for the watch along. I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully Gustavo Scarpa will be on the pitch. And come on, you Reds.